What a win. I don't know much else to say. We dominated. The TCU Horned Frogs dominated the biggest test of the year, and we're so excited about it that we're bringing you a Monday night episode. The Redshirts are back, recapping week 11. Eddie, welcome back.
I was uh I was impressed to say the least. First of all, first ever Redshirts live stream
Yes,
went
first
went
ever
went well.
Red Shirts live stream was successful. We streamed the entire game live from our TikTok. Hopefully, those that didn't get to join will join in next time. We'll definitely do more of that moving forward. Hopefully, have some more of our friends and guests along for the road as well. But big win. Definitely. I guess we'll just start going over that game. TCU's defense. I impressed on every level. Held Bijan Robinson to 29 yards, maybe the best running back in the country when all week people were saying, I myself included, people were saying we were going to give up 200 yards to him. Texas alone had under 200 yards for the first time in the Big 12 era. First time a Steve Sarkisian offense, I think, has ever had that little amount of yards. So just absolutely dominant from top to bottom. I'm honestly still speechless, and we're 2 days later at this point.
Yeah, that was definitely what I was most impressed by. That defense was really unbelievable. Also, very impressed by the way the offensive line stepped up in the second half. That was a real challenge in the first half.
Yeah,
Duggan had like no
Texas
time to
is
throw.
that first half Texas defensive line ate us alive. I thought that game was literally going to be first score wins. I think it did being that because TCU did score first. But they dominated on every playing field up until that Kendry Miller broken 80-yard run. Honestly, TCU got nothing going, but the offensive line in the second half looked way better. So hopefully
Yeah,
that's a good sign
and
moving forward.
and Texas's only score came off that nonsense fumble, right? So that was,
Yeah, I mean
you
Texas,
know,
they literally the offense scored nothing. They had that one strip sack where it was just a bad, I mean not even strip sack, scoop and score off a bad handoff. Other than that, TCU dominates that game 17-3, probably 24-3 because they were driving at that point. I mean, I didn't think Texas was that good. Once you see a line like that, when they make TCU a 7-point favorite underdog, you kind of figure they know something that we don't know. And honestly, I was watching game day. Kirk Herbstreit said, because Lee Corso wasn't there, he said Lee Corso thinks TCU is better, but he thinks that somebody knows something he doesn't know, and that's why he took Texas in that game. But TCU shut everybody up, and I'm curious to see I mean, I don't think for that much tomorrow because of the other results that we got. We'll talk about that when we show our top 10. But I think they definitely proved that they belong. As long as they went out, there's no reason TCU should not be in that top four.
yeah, and I thought the same thing that the line was very telling. It was going to be Texas, and even a lot of the stats kind of pointed to Texas would have a better shot to at least win this game. Um, yeah, I was shocked by the way it went down. Quinn Ewers definitely did not impress.
I mean,
That
look, I
was
like the kid, but that was a very underwhelming game against a defense that, let's be honest, had its holes up going into that game. I mean, that was the best they've looked all season. TCU, I love the team this year, but the defense has gotten ripped apart in a few games. So to see Quinn Ewers struggle a lot, to see Bijan Robinson get nothing going, definitely a very impressive game from TCU, but also a very lackluster game from Texas.
yeah. They gave up a lot of points to other teams with quarterbacks that are considered much worse
That's what I'm
than
saying.
Quinn Ewers.
Everybody was ranting and raving about, oh, the backup quarterbacks have been tearing TCU apart. Well, I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but maybe it's because TCU kind of didn't have any tape on these backup quarterbacks. I mean, no one's really studying for these guys. They had a whole week to prepare for Quinn Ewers, and look what happened. We shut them
Mm-hmm.
down. So I'm curious to see if that TCU defense can keep the ball rolling. Obviously, we have Baylor coming up this week. We'll talk about that on Wednesday, but definitely some big games coming up, but a big result nonetheless. A few other big results, including some big upsets. We had Georgia beat Mississippi State, Ohio State, Indiana, Michigan, Nebraska, yada, yada, yada. Tennessee was in trouble for a little bit, but they ended up just absolutely thumping Missouri. But the big one, we also were flipping between this during the live stream as well. The Washington Huskies, my one loss of the week on Oregon here. Oregon just had it. They do this every year. They had their Pac-12 slip up, and it happened against Washington. That defense looked terrible against Washington. Washington was moving down the field at will.
Yeah, and this is not what I expected, especially after seeing Oregon State play Washington when they had such trouble stopping that offense. And Oregon, who's considered to be one of the better offenses in the country, really got nothing going at all against Washington.
No, I mean, Washington just absolutely dominated them on the offensive end. Oregon was able to move the ball well. I mean, Oregon was going down the field, and then it just seemed like Washington answered within the next minute. It just seemed like that
Yeah,
Oregon defense was not ready on Saturday whatsoever. That's definitely going to hurt them. I think they're probably, I mean, definitely. I have them outside of the top 10 at this point. I think they're definitely going to be out. Playoff chances probably squashed at that point. But I mean, impressive win for Washington. They look at the Washington that we saw earlier in the year. I know they now Can they make the Pac-12 title game? I didn't even look at the standings.
I think they have a shot now. If
Let's see.
USC loses this, actually, I don't know because UCLA did beat USC. I mean,
Oh,
UCLA
that
did
was
beat
well. No,
them.
that was still Oregon's for according to the standings. Oregon is still the team in the game. You have USC is sitting in first place. Oregon and Utah are tied at 6-1. I think they still have to play each other.
Oregon and Utah play this
Check
week.
that. That's this week. So yeah, so Oregon and Utah pretty much are playing this week for that spot against USC. That could
That's
be
a
a good
team that
game
always plays Oregon super tough. So
in Oregon too. So I mean, it'll be interesting because Oregon they've been playing well at home. Do they bounce back? I'm curious to see what that line is going to be too because they're coming off a
it's
loss.
I think it's Oregon 3 -3.
They're
And
gonna they're
I
begging me to
found
take
that
that.
I know I found in this game the past few years, this is a game that I feel like we as a
It's
podcast
always
have focused
it
on.
it's always that number. Literally
It's
every
always
year, I
that
think.
number, and it's always the favorite.
Yeah, every year I feel like it's been that number of like the
It's
last like
three, and the
three
favorite
matchups.
covers.
Yeah,
So that's something to watch
that's
for,
definitely one
definitely.
I'm looking at. Other results. LSU was able to survive. That was definitely a scary one. LSU was able to survive against Arkansas, keeping their SEC title games alive after in a big letdown spot after that big win against Alabama. Offense didn't really do much, but Harold Perkins, my God, we might have found the
Al
next Will Anderson.
Perkins, yeah, he's gonna be talked about for a while. Um, he was unbelievable that game. Also, I don't know if you saw post game, but Brian Kelly was like talking about how he was sick before the game started. He was
Oh
throwing
my
up,
God, yeah,
and
I
then
saw the well, I saw the clip
Brian
today. We
Kelly
posted
was
on
like,
TikTok.
he's
Yes.
like, he's like, MJ got sick for his best game, and he was like, who's MJ? There's no way that you don't know who MJ is. That doesn't happen. It's like not
He had
possible.
to just not know like the MJ part. Like he probably knows who Michael Jordan is. He just didn't realize when he said MJ
Yeah,
because that was like absurd to
because
even hear.
if you have a pulse, you know who MJ is.
Yeah, no, that was like absolutely absurd to even hear. But LSU survives. They've still got their spot in the SEC title game. Bama with another late scare. Jackson Dart had the chance to win it for Ole Miss, but Lane Kiffin, year in year out, just seems like he can't get over that hump and beating Nick Saban. But some rumors swirling, which we'll definitely talk about after you talk about the game, that he might be going to Auburn, but hopefully that'll help him get over the hump because Ole Miss just seems to be a hair short every year.
And I wanted so bad for this to be the finally he gets the monkey off his back. It would have been so great for college football. Um, just too little, too late, too short,
Yeah,
almost
definitely
lane.
just a tough Jackson Dart. He's like so hit or miss. I to watching
Yeah,
him
it
is
really
just
is.
you
That's
never
how
know
it
what
was
you're gonna
last year too,
get.
though. It was like he would have a crazy game followed by nothing, and then all over the place.
Yeah. We had Clemson beat Louisville pretty handily. Big upset actually late night. I was actually up watching this after the late stream. Arizona with the outright win over UCLA. Still bowl eligible now. Arizona sitting at 4-6, but a tough loss for UCLA now 8-2, 5-2 in the conference. Kind of eliminating them from Pac-12 title match. I know they still have to play USC, so that's still a game that they have in hand to make some trouble in the Pac-12, but definitely a big loss for Chip Kelly.
Yeah, they're going to be done, I think. And I was very surprised how well this Arizona defense played against UCLA. DTR really got nothing going. And Jaden Delora had an insane game for
He
Arizona. He was
he
crying on the
oh my
sideline at
God.
the end.
I felt like I was watching prime Johnny Manziel the way he was running around in that
Yeah, it was
fourth quarter. It
insane.
was wild.
It reminded me a little bit too much of Zach Wilson, except he wasn't getting stopped.
He was throwing
I was
360
getting bad
interceptions.
flashbacks. Yeah, but yeah, I was. If there was one game that I thought would be for sure, like this team goes, the dog goes up live and take the favorite live to cover, it would have been that
Mhm.
one. But luckily, I didn't do it. That was not even close.
Yeah, no, that was definitely a fun late night game. We had Utah beat Stanford pretty handily. Penn State beat Maryland. Penn State, I don't know if you saw that, by the way, how badly they own that rivalry with Maryland.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and they would. I didn't
The
see the final score though. They killed them, right?
30 nothing, but there was a stat I got to find. They've outscored them by like some absurd amount, but they shut them out twice in the last 3 years, and they lead the all-time series 42-3-1. That's literally
Jesus
not even a
Christ.
rivalry.
Yeah, that's almost impossible.
We had UNC keep their ACC title hopes alive. Big road win against Sam Hartman and Wake Forest. Very tough year for Wake Forest in the ACC. 2-4 in conference play, which you would not have expected. I had them probably playing Clemson in the ACC title game, to be honest, preseason, but rough year for them. Big win for Drake May, keeping North Carolina's ACC title hopes alive
Yeah,
and Heisman
Drake
hopes, I
May
should say.
looks as good as anybody. Definitely better than his brother, I guess I could say. Although he hasn't had as
Um,
big a moment as his brother yet.
His brother's got a title. We
Brother's
can't
got a
take that away from him.
title
His brother does got
and
a
a
national title.
huge moment.
Yeah, his brother. I mean, he's gonna have to do a lot to take over the Luke May mantra over at UNC, but I'm sure the fans are loving him over there.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's got to be in the Heisman conversation at this point. And when
Well, you sent it
is
earlier. It's plus
Heisman?
400, right?
Yeah, is Heisman after AC title game?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Heisman
He
should
makes
be
noise
like
against.
the Heisman should be SantaCon, which would be the second Saturday of December.
He makes noise against Clemson. I mean, you got a conference. Wait, actually, hold on. Let's see. Heisman Trophy presentation.
Because
Let me
I
get
think right now it's probably set in stone unless
December
Duggan
10th.
has like some crazy game the next two games. I think it's gonna be set in stone with what those top three you said were
Okay.
Stroud, Duggan,
Title
and
ACC title game is December 3rd. The Heisman is the Saturday after that, December 10th. So
okay.
he gets the title game. He makes noise against Clemson. I see no reason why he should not have a legitimate chance at winning.
Yeah. He definitely has a legitimate chance.
That'll be a
Um
fun one. What else do we got here? Boston College upset NC State. I think they were like plus
that
900.
killed me. That
Oh yeah,
killed
you had
my
the win total. That
win
ruined
total.
you.
So now I need no I need two wins now. They're gonna be dogs in both games. It's
What do we
they
got?
have Louisville and they have UNC.
Both on the road too. That's tough.
Yeah,
At
it's
Louisville,
gonna be
at
very
UNC.
tough. I think they play UNC tough. I don't know how if they can win this
I
game, but
mean, it's a rivalry game. You never know.
yeah, it just sucks to think how easy it would have been if Devin Leary just played out the season. They would have just all you had to do was win the games like Boston College, easy win. Ugh,
We had Central Florida beating Tulane in a big matchup in the American. Tulane
that
finally
one hurt my
falling after
heart.
a hot
I
start.
was so sad to see Tulane go down.
I like the Central Florida team though. Plumlee, I think, is incredible. He great
He's
dual
good,
threat.
yeah.
He's
He's
definitely a name I
really
want to watch out for next year for Heisman. But he's a very good quarterback.
he's really fast too.
We had Kenzie State route Baylor. Adrian Martinez exited the game again.
Yeah, pretty early on.
Jesus Christ, that is brutal. But I mean, this guy Will Howard does it again. But 31-3 win for them. And I mean, we got to talk about this one. Notre Dame almost with a catastrophic blown game after the big win against Clemson, but they were able to hang on against what seemed like a friskier Navy team than we've seen all year.
I don't know what happened in that game. I mean, obviously, I was watching, but it was an unbelievable first half. We saw one of the best catches in college football, probably the best catch of the year so far.
Oh, that was
Dupont had five
insane.
touchdowns in the first half, and then we had like 12 yards of offense in the second half. It was like nothing I've ever seen before from this team, and I'm just glad we escaped with the victory.
Yeah, no, it was definitely that was a heart attack of a game where they have 12 yards in the second half, Notre Dame.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's just wildly gross. But I mean, that was pretty much it for the results of week 11 in terms of the big one. So we might as well get into the meat of it here and give our top 10, what we think our top 10 is going to be or should be going into tomorrow or today, whenever you listen to this. So for me, I've pretty much got top four stays the same. I don't know if you agree with that. Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU. I don't think there's
Yeah,
any.
I got top four the same, and you know that's like part of me doing that is like Ohio State and Michigan are going to play, so one of them is going to drop out.
There's no
So
point. Yeah, I
yeah,
think you leave that as is. There's no point. TCU has a very good resume at this point, but I don't think they're worth jumping at this point. You just leave it.
the good thing
Tennessee
is
stays fifth after a big win, so I think top five should be the same.
yeah,
What do you have at six?
six I have LSU.
That's what I've got. So top six, we're pretty much the same on. This is now. I mean, it's probably gonna be the same here. To be honest, I have Bama 7. I put them ahead of USC. I think the committee's gonna put a 2-loss Bama ahead of USC.
I have USC 7, but I can see that happening too. I just
I
think USC is coming off. I mean, USC hasn't played anybody, but Bama's coming off like
This
the
is well,
loss
my
and
thought
a not so
process.
great win.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, they did beat Ole Miss, who the committee kind of liked. So that's my whole thing when you look at it that way. And it was on the road, so that is kind of a good win for Bama. Um, and if you look at it this way, USC kind of still hasn't played anybody. And after this weekend, you have to kind of assume the Pac-12 got a little worse. Oregon lost, UCLA lost, so the conference itself is kind of just looking a little bit weaker. So that's kind of why I see Alabama can jump them. So I have Alabama 7, USC 8, Clemson 9, and this was the shock. I mean, I'm not really shocked, but it would have them. Let me pull up how many spots it would have them jumping. I have UNC at 10. So I think UNC should jump Penn State, Utah, Ole Miss lost, UCLA lost. I think that North Carolina is deserving enough to jump Penn State and Utah and go to 10. I don't know how you feel about that, but that was my one little shakeup I think should happen.
Yeah, I'm not there on them yet, just because I just
I
value
know
the
that I know they've
ACC
played nobody,
very.
but
Yeah,
yeah, no. But I just think that sitting at 9-1, how good Drake May has been, I just think they've got to get some national recognition. I feel like this is the week. Utah's got 2 losses. Penn State, we've seen them play the good teams. I don't think they have a chance. I think it's either going to be Utah or UNC. I think Penn State stays out of there just because we've seen them play the good teams. We know that they're not really competitive. They kind of beat up on the crap of the Big Ten. So I think that 10 spot's going to be either UNC or Utah. But I honestly think UNC is more deserving at this moment.
yeah. I have Clemson 9, then I still have Oregon 10, but I put Utah as 11 just because it's the same thing. Like they played this week, so the winner's going to be in, and the winner will be out of the top. Loser will be out of the
So,
top 10.
so you have the same thing as me, but you have USC 7, right?
USC 7, yeah. Bama 8.
Bama 8, Clemson 9,
Yep.
and Utah 10.
Oregon 10.
Oregon. Oh, you kept Oregon. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. I kept them just because I said, like, they're gonna play this week, so whatever,
No, yeah, that's a good
the
point.
loser's out.
That's definitely definitely a good point. I just the two losses is I feel like it's just killer now because I mean they were the thing is it's that one loss against Georgia that's a good loss in theory. It's just a matter of how good the committee thinks Washington is at this point. I mean they were 25th, so I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like, the loss to Georgia. I don't really put that too much weight onto that. That was the coach's first game. Obviously, Washington, they're done for the playoffs. I think, unless something crazy happens.
You would need everybody to have at like you need everybody to be sitting at 2 losses. Like TCU needs to lose 2 games. The Big Ten somehow needs to lose 2 games. Tennessee needs to lose another one. Like a lot needs to happen.
Yeah, no, it would be pretty much impossible.
But this is what the Pac-12 does every year. They kind of just beat the shit out of each other, and then they cost them. They pretty much cost themselves a playoff spot.
Yeah, which kind of tells us that they don't have a dominant team.
Exactly.
But you're sitting pretty good there. Number 4, you pretty much you control your own destiny. You win out, you're in.
Looking at it now, you have Ohio State plays Michigan. You have to figure that loser falls out for Tennessee, right? I'm saying
Well,
before the title games, you figure that loser
yes,
of that
yes,
game falls out. Tennessee goes in.
yeah.
So you'd be looking at now. Argument's sake, Ohio State beats Michigan. TCU goes up to 3. Tennessee up to 4. Does Michigan go down to 5, or does LSU jump them and Michigan goes down to 6?
That
This is pre-title game, pre-conference title games, I should say.
Yeah, that's tough. I think it would depend how close the game is. If it's a blowout, they'll drop. If it's like a 3-point
If it's a
game,
close loss, they're probably just sitting 5th.
yeah,
So then you're going into that weekend. TCU's playing a Big 12 title game. Say they win, that locks up a spot, I think.
yeah,
Ohio State's playing. You figure the Purdue at that point. Ohio State wins, that locks up a spot.
yeah.
Georgia beats LSU, that locks up a spot.
Well, Georgia has a spot regardless, I'd say.
Right, but I'm just saying in terms of if these results happen, Georgia locks up.
Oh,
Georgia
yeah,
wins,
those results, yeah.
Georgia gets that. So you're sitting at 3 spots guaranteed with conference titles. The 4th spot would be between Tennessee, Michigan.
And then a one-loss USC that could win the Pac-12.
If USC wins the Pac-12, you end them.
Yeah, and I think you'd have to give it to them, just because they'd have then beaten.
Well, they beat UCLA then on paper.
Yeah, and then Oregon
they
or
would
Utah.
beat Oregon or Utah. So that in theory, those are also good wins.
Yeah, and I think if you look at the talent on that USC team,
So the
the
question we're
wouldn't feel
asking
bad about putting them in.
the question we're asking pretty much is 1 loss non-Big Ten champion, 1 loss non-SEC champion, 1 loss Pac-12 champion. I mean, to me over the last few years, they value that conference championship game. So you kind of can't take that away from USC, I feel like. But again, I wouldn't be surprised because I just feel like they like Tennessee so much this year.
They do. But I think still that extra game in the conference championship, as much as I also think they don't value the Pac-12 as highly, I think they would still squeak in. But it would be very, very close. If you came down to like the votes or the percentages from the committee, I think it would be very, very close.
Yeah, I mean, barring something chaotic, I think TCU, Georgia, and Ohio State are the 3 locked up teams. Obviously, Michigan can beat Ohio State. You never know. TCU can lose. Baylor's not a slouch. So these results can change, but I think right now Georgia, Ohio State, Georgia, one of the Big Ten teams, and TCU control their own destiny to lock up a spot for sure. It's gonna be a race to see what happens between those one-loss teams if all three of those teams win.
Yeah.
All right, we might as well
Yeah,
get
that's
to
gonna be.
the fun part of our Monday night recap. We've decided to add in a little twist since we're adding in college football playoff rankings. I'll let Eddie take it away because this was his brainchild, so I'll let him start us off.
I like to do a little, get a little funky here. It's I like to rank things. We talk about the playoff rankings. We're gonna rank one of my favorite foods. I know you love French fries. We're going top 10 French fry cuts. I want to start from 10 down.
You want to start from 10 and go to 1?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah,
So
I'll let you go ahead.
my number 10 is a French fry that it's very childish. It's it's very bland too. The smiley face fry.
Oh my God, we're gonna fight. We are. This is gonna be fun. Okay, go ahead. I'd
Oh,
love
you
to
want to go
hear
my whole
this.
10? I was gonna say I was gonna go
Yeah,
back and
go.
forth.
Yeah, no, go 10-1 just because I feel like it's easier this way. So yeah, go 10-1.
10 is a smiley face fry. 9, I have another fry that I would never even order because I don't do breakfast. Like I've told you, you know that very well. The home
I saw
fry.
that. I saw those. I couldn't even put them in the top 10. They did not even
Yeah,
crack my
they're not
list.
deserving of the top 10. Um, I have at number 8. This fry would not have made it to this list period, but Roll and Roaster just added these, so the wedge comes in at number 8.
Okay.
Number 7, I just have your standard French fry. Number
Wait. So hold on.
6,
I want to hold on. I want to write this down. I have Smiley 10.
9 is
What did you have?
home
9. 9 is
home
home
fry.
fry. 8
Wedge.
wedge. And what was 7?
7 is your standard cut.
Standard cut. Okay, so straight cut. Okay. Now go ahead.
6 is the steak fry. Little big, but
We
it
both
has
have the
its
steak fry
moments.
reason. We have it reasonably high. I like that. Okay.
I was gonna be lower, but the more I thought about it, it should be in this middle of the list, I think. Number 5 is the shoestring fry. Now I wanted to ask you, would you consider McDonald's fries shoestring?
Ooh. See, that's the no. Okay, that's the argument I was having with myself. I actually considered them more of a straight cut, and I think shoestring is more of like that, just like shitty thin ones, like really thin.
Oh, that would change things for me then. Because when in my mind I was considering McDonald's shoestring, and that's why I had them so high. If that's the case, then shoestring would be like in the bottom 3 for me.
So you want? I mean, well, so then, well, you could do. You have straight.
I want to swap now standard and shoestring.
So you want to? Okay, so then shoestring you have down to 7, straight up to 5. Okay,
Yes.
I got you. All right, go ahead.
All right, number 4, a fry that is very near and dear to my heart. I don't know if you saw this. I never knew the name of this type of fry, but it's the roll and roaster fry. It's called the cottage fry.
I
Number
got that. This is on the list. It made the list.
no, number 4, and that's solely from roll and roaster. That's the only place you're
Yeah.
gonna get them. Number 3 is the waffle. Number 2, I might be very high on, but I think it goes a little under the radar. The crinkle cut fry. And number 1, you got to go curly.
I knew you were gonna do that, you piece of shit. You don't even have my number 1 French fry on your list.
Are you serious?
You do. This is.
Wait, did I miss an obvious one?
I mean, I'm baffled right now.
Oh wait, I know what I missed.
That's
and
it. You didn't do
I
it.
know what your number 1 is. It's got to be the tot, right?
All right, I'm gonna go. So 10 shoestring fries. I think are the worst fries on the planet.
Yeah, they're not
the
great.
little thin. They're just terrible. I have wedges 9. I'm not crazy about them, but I do like the KFC wedge a little bit. That's kind of the only wedges that came to my mind, to be honest.
Yeah,
I've got
no
8.
fast food really has them.
I've got 8 the straight cut, so I consider that like the Burger King fries, McDonald's fries, like ones like those. I have curly down at 7.
Ooh,
I am not a
that's
curly.
a bad look for the curly fry.
I'm not a curly fry guy. I just feel like they don't come crispy enough. I feel like sometimes they could be a little too soggy. Me and curly fries are just not. We don't get along. I've got the smiles at 6. I love
That's
the
too high.
smiles.
That's way too high for a smiley fry.
I agree.
That's
No, see, I agree
that's
with you that they're a little
childish.
plain.
That is a childish answer.
I I agree with you that they're a little plain, but it's something about them. I love a good smiley French fry. It must be the kid in me. You're right. I'm a little childish. But number 5, I've got the cottage fry, the roll and roaster French fry. As everybody knows, those little circle
Yeah,
chips.
good
I think
spot, good
those.
spot.
I wish roll and roaster still had those, but that's a conversation for another day. The steak fry I have at number 4. Then the top three. This is my big three of French fries. Crinkle cut, number three. Love a good
Oh, so
crinkle cut.
you're high on crinkle cut too. All right.
I love crinkle cut. Yes. Number two for me is the good old waffle fry. You know how much I love
Yeah.
those Chick-fil-A French fries, so I love the
Chick-fil-A
waffles.
waffle
And
fries. Yep.
the fact that you don't even have tater tots on your list is so like absurd to me.
No,
Tater tots
that
are
was that
that's
one's
got
on
to
me.
be
That
you
should have
just
been
you
there.
omitted them.
Yeah, that was an omission. I had a long day at work. I was tired. I forgot tater tots. That's on me.
Tater
Apologies to
tots,
Napoleon Dynamite.
tater tots, by far number one. I mean, it's mostly because of Napoleon Dynamite, but I just as a kid, I just always loved tater tots. They go with everything. Cheesy tots, you can make bacon tots, just any kind of
Buffalo
tater tot.
tots.
I love tater tot. I still can't believe you forgot them off your list.
I'm
You
actually
asked
pretty
me
upset. And I
to
have freaking
rank
home
French fry
fries on
cuts.
here.
You
I have
yeah,
freaking
that's what
home
I'm
fries on
saying.
here, and I forgot tater tots.
Home fries didn't make the cut for me. Did you see that weird one that was on the list? It was like 14th. Hold on, I have because I
It
actually
was
have
it
the
was like skewers or something like that.
potato tornado. I have not.
Yeah.
If anybody out
No.
there, if anybody out there listening has heard of a potato tornado, please contact us because I
If
have
you
never heard of that in my life.
if you're eating potato tornadoes, take a walk.
All right, but I mean that pretty much sums it up for our recap. I think we're gonna try this. We're gonna try a little fun top 10 ranking every weekend when we do this college football playoff ranking.
Yeah, let us know what you want to hear us rank.
Let us know in the TikTok comments, the Instagram comments. Let us know what kind of rankings you guys want to see. We're gonna try a fun, different one every week. Wednesday we'll be back with our pick'em episode Wednesday night into Thursday. So get ready for the plays for the weekend, and we'll get ready for hopefully another big, exciting weekend of college football. Anything else you want to add on out there?
Uh, I think I need to advocate more for the curly fry, but
I think you need to advocate more for some tater tots because you had them just off your goddamn list. That's I just still sick about it, but we'll get over that eventually. But as always, the Redshirts will get on out of here. We'll be back on Wednesday with our pick'em episode, and as always, see you next time.